I've never told anyone this story, and even as I type it, my hands are shaking. It happened years ago, but I still dream about it sometimes. If you ever see a woman selling bananas late at night, don't stop. Just keep walking. Trust me. I was on my way home from my cousin's wedding in a small village near Ohambele. It was already dark, and I had missed the last taxi back to the city. The boda driver I'd hired dropped me off on the outskirts of the town because the road ahead was too muddy for his bike. "It's not far," he said, pointing down the dirt road. "Just keep straight, and you reach the highway in about 20 minutes. Be careful." It wasn't what I wanted to hear, but I didn't have a choice. The only sounds were my footsteps on the wet ground and the distant chirping of crickets. The air was heavy, and the moon was hiding behind thick clouds. That's when I saw her. She was sitting by the side of the road, her back hunched and her head covered with a scarf. She had a small wooden tray in front of her piled high with ripe bananas. At first, I thought she was just another vendor trying to make a living. But something about her didn't feel right. "Bananas," she called out in a low, raspy voice. "Sweet bananas. Only 5 shillings. I stopped a few meters away, unsure of what to do. Who sells bananas in the middle of nowhere at this hour? But then I thought about how long the walk to the highway would be. I was hungry, and she might have been harmless. "Oh, how much for one?" I asked. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she looked up at me. Her face was mostly in shadow, but her eyes glowed faintly, like the embers of a dying fire. 5 shillings, she repeated, holding out a banana with long, thin fingers. I hesitated. Every instinct in my body told me to walk away, but I didn't want to be rude. I took a coin from my pocket and handed it to her, trying not to make eye contact. Her hand brushed mine as she gave me the banana. Her skin was ice cold, like she'd been sitting in a freezer. "Thank you," I mumbled and started to walk away. But after a few steps, I heard her laugh. It wasn't a normal laugh, it was soft and guttural, like it was coming from deep inside her chest. "You should eat it," she said. I froze. "No, thanks," I called back, trying to keep my voice steady. "Eat it," she said again, her voice louder this time. I glanced over my shoulder. She was still sitting there, but now she was holding one of the bananas and peeling it slowly. Her fingers moved in jerky, unnatural motions. "I'm fine," I said, turning back and walking faster. Then I heard footsteps behind me. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it would burst. The footsteps grew louder, heavier, like whoever, or whatever, was following me was getting closer. "Eat it," her voice hissed, right next to my ear. I broke into a run. My shoes slipped on the muddy road, and my breath came in short, panicked gasps. The highway wasn't far, I could see the faint glow of headlights in the distance. When I reached the highway, I stopped and turned around, expecting to see her right behind me. But she was gone. I stood there for a moment, trying to catch my breath. Then I looked down at the banana in my hand. The peel was blackened, and the fruit inside was oozing with some kind of dark, sticky liquid. I threw it onto the ground and ran to the nearest gas station, where a few truck drivers were gathered. One of them, an older man with a scar across his cheek, saw the look on my face and asked what was wrong. When I told him about the banana seller, his expression turned grim. "You're lucky you didn't eat it," he said. "There's a story about her. They say she was a woman who used to sell bananas in the market, but she was caught poisoning people. The villagers chased her into the forest, and she died there. Now her spirit wanders, looking for someone to take her curse." I didn't know what to say. The man handed me a cup of tea and told me to sit down, but I couldn't stop shaking. I never walked that road again, and I never bought bananas from roadside vendors. If you see her, don't stop. And whatever you do, don't eat the banana.